Alright, hello, welcome, thank you for joining me today. My name is Bjorn, and we're gonna go ahead and look at my Path of the Inquisitor. It's for my homebrew class for Dungeons and Dragons 5e. And yeah, it's probably my favorite archetype of them. Not that I have a favorite. I like all my children equally, but this one in particular I like because I find it very satisfying as a dungeon master, especially to play evil characters on occasion. Very, very relaxing, soothing. I recommend it for people, but yeah, anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so the Inquisitor. While most orders outright shame the use of such individuals, there are always fanatics working from the shadows or out in the open. These people seek out heretics and threats from within and without the order, supernatural or not. With such a ruthless reputation, some believe just a boast to scare the unfaithful. However, the few to survive their trials know it is no deception. So, yeah, so this class focuses primarily on fear and torture. Yeah, it's kind of an evil archetype. There's no two ways about it. This character, I mean, you can maybe play this character as some sort of lawful neutral. That's assuming you don't torture people. But you're still gonna scare the ever-living shit out of people. I can't see this being a lawful good character. Unless you want to play lawful stupid, in which case this is definitely a lawful stupid character that you could play. Have fun with it. Anyway, so the Path of the Inquisitor's features as listed are the 2nd level, Judgment 6th level, Righteous Verdict, 10th level, Atonement, and then 14th level is Retribution. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into the features, because I'm not going to get too much into the lore of this one right now. Judgment, starting at 2nd level, you gain a dark vision out to 30 feet. If you already have dark vision, extend it out an additional 30 feet. In addition, you gain both the Chill Touch and the Spare the Dying cantrips. Wisdom is your spellcasting modifier for these spells if it applies. Now, Chill Touch feels appropriate for this class, mostly because of the side effect that it has. It prevents people from regenerating health or healing. I really like that. It adds a lot to this character. Also, it's a nice little ranged ability that you can use as a filler instead of melee. Spare the Dying. You might be questioning, why Spare the Dying? Well, while you're torturing the shit out of people, they're probably going to go under and start using death saving throws. That's gonna prevent them from fully dying. That way, when they start to heal up later, you can get back to questioning. Instead of wasting a hit die on them or a spell, there you go. Puny little cantrip to keep them going. In addition, you gain proficiency in all martial weapons and the insight and intimidation skills. If you don't already have it, your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability checks you make that uses either of those proficiencies. So again, I'm keeping this. This one probably has. I might have a small bias. This one might have the most things at the 2nd level, which is why I'm having a hard time deciding about whether or not to give them dark vision. Like, dark vision is just kind of a thing that I felt would suit this character, because I mentioned they operate from the shadows. It's cloak and dagger. So it makes sense that in some way the darkness has corrupted them. And it's starting to take hold, and it's in this shape that they're able to now see in the dark. And that's a progression, and then you progressively get more and more evil, and I kind of like that for the roleplay. But then at the same time, dark vision is mechanically very, very powerful, especially if you're human. Dark vision is awesome. Even just a small 30-foot range, that makes all the difference, especially playing a game such as Dungeons and Dragons. You're going to be in dungeons, and going in caves, and going in all these other places while you're adventuring that have zero light. So dark vision is very helpful. So I'm hesitant on giving it to them, but for now, I think I will. And if people feel that it is far too powerful, they can take that away themselves. Or if I get a resounding, holy shit, this is too much compared to the rest, then I'll take it out. But yeah, we'll see. So as for the martial weapons, I've decided to give them all the martial weapons because it just feels like this individual would want to be able to utilize all tools at their disposal. Not just the simple weapons at hand, but all the other bigger ones. Because, I mean, why not? It's an additional proficiency in there. They gain a lot of different utility. They can maybe go a bit more range. They can use a longbow now, but I mean, You know, they already had access to other ranged, so I didn't feel like it was too big of a deal, which is why I still gave them insight and intimidation as proficiency and expertise. Insight because we're getting information out of these people that we're torturing. We need to be good at that. And then intimidation purely because this class bases itself off on fear and striking intimidation into those and getting information that way. Not persuasion, not fucking deception. I mean, you can certainly use those, but I really like hammering it home with intimidation being the number one thing. And so we come on down into Righteous Verdict at 6th level. You've learned a new way to manipulate your inner strength to cause harm to others. Instead of spending hit dice to heal others, you may now use it to impede them. So, you know, this is, again, taking the hit dice that we have and changing it into something else. As a bonus action, expending a use of a hit die, you may reach out to a target within 30 feet, forcing them to make a wisdom saving throw. Against your spell save DC, on a pass, nothing will happen. On a failure, the following will happen. On the target's first failed save, entering stage 1, they will have their movement speed cut in half for 5 rounds of combat. I'm kind of hesitant about the amount of rounds here. The reason why 5 rounds of combat is because, again, we're sacrificing our hit die, and they can make their save. So there's any number of times in which they're going to beat you. They're going to beat your save, and this is going to be pointless. So it's kind of hard for me to find striking the balance there. I've went from 3 to 4 to 5. I'm kind of bouncing between there, but I kind of like the 5 rounds of combat because this also ties into the later stages. So on a target's second failed save, within the rounds of stage 1, your target will enter stage 2, becoming frightened of you, and they become immobilized for 3 rounds of combat. In addition, you also have advantage on any intimidation checks you make on them. So this is why I extended stage 1s for so long, because it might take a bit to actually get them into it, and then it might take a bit to get into stage 2. It really depends on how high your wisdom is and how high their wisdom saving throw is, so it very much depends on what you're going up against, and there's a lot of things that don't have good wisdom saves, and there's a lot of things that do. So, kind of a tricky one. And then on the target's third failed save, within the rounds of the immobilization, they will enter stage 3, becoming restrained with fear for 3 rounds of combat, and remain frightened for those rounds. So this one is definitely, I decided to set the immobilization to a harder, again, within rounds of combat, so there's only 3 rounds in which you can get them into the immobilization. Restrained is powerful. Restrained is very, very powerful. Not only do you have advantage on the attack rolls, but anything that lands as a critical hit, which also ties into later abilities here. The one thing I will put as note, as this is a frightened effect, if the target is immune to such things, they will not be affected by the final 2 stages. The first stage I'm not counting as a frightened effect. I kind of like that because then you'll at least be able to handle paladins to some degree. You'll be able, because paladins at 10th level, they're just immune to fear, and anyone within 10 feet of them, they become 18th feet. 18th level, it's 30 feet. And Berserker Barbarians, Mindless Rage. So at least for those 2 classes, you can slow them down and run away. That's kind of what you want to do with them. It's kind of what how you'd handle them, and they're kind of your bane still, because I mean, there's other shit that they can throw at you. They can throw fucking weapons at you and do all sorts of crazy shit. So I felt like that was still okay. I didn't feel like that was too broken. I kind of like it. Hey, look, new shirt. Anyways, I believe I got up to the point of explaining the rounds. The main problems I had with the rounds was that I was trying to strike up a nice balance between what would most be worth actually getting this individual into into the stages going, because, you know, I didn't want it to be something as powerful as, like, say, stunning blow, then automatically they're stunned for the whole next round. I wanted it to have effects and different stages and have different levels of power, and I kind of like it, and later on it just improves as we gain more levels here. Alright, now starting at 10th level, we've gained Atonement. Anytime we attack an individual that is under some form of frightened effect, they will be forced to make a wisdom save against your spell save DC. On a success, nothing will happen. On a failure, they will confess to anything they seek to atone for in their life. and take an additional 2d8 psychic damage. So this incentivizes you to really get into the second stage here, or even the third stage, because, you know, extra damage. Also, it would be really fun to just have an NPC randomly confess to some random thing that they did that they feel is immoral, which isn't. You know, there's a lot of fun that the Dungeon Master could play if they can improv it well. On a critical hit, the target will automatically fail this save, confess, and instead take 3d8 psychic damage, and you will cover 1 lost hit dice, and you cannot go over your maximum hit dice. So the reason why it's 1 lost hit dice is because I'm assuming that people are using this to get them into, once you've gotten somebody into, say, the third phase here. Again, they're restrained. Any hits on them, there's advantage to hit, and it's a critical hit, and they're just restrained for 3 rounds. That's kind of the power problem I'm having here, is that there's no concentration, there's no anything. I'm trying to debate, should I add concentration onto this? Would that break it? Because they have to, instead of just casting a spell like Entangle, which would restrain you, they would just fail 1 save, and then all of a sudden, then you're holding concentration. But with this, they have to go through stages and get to that point. So it's kind of a hard balancing act. Is it worth the investment if there's a concentration? Would it force people just to take Warcaster every time? Like, I don't know. It's a hard line to balance here. So what, like, for 3 rounds they would be restrained. That's many critical hits that you're gonna get, and other people will get 2 on them, and you're going to be able to regenerate those lost hit dice within those rounds. Because again, you have extra attack. That's 2 hits. That's 2 hit dice regained on 1 round, and then, you know, for the next 2, you'll gain 6. You'll gain 6 hit dice back within the full round of them being restrained. So it feels fine to me, but I would need play testing. I would need to see how well this is actually taking effect on enemies, and as well as if it's too powerful on enemies. So need to play test it. Alright, and then at 14th level we gain Retribution. Your deeds have inspired someone or something, be it an angel, devil, demon, god, fae, or beyond that which you can't understand. They have observed your work and wish to grant you a boon to aid you on your path. So this is a big reference here that I don't think I've went over into the lore much. My lore videos with the Inquisitor is that the way I could see, I think I did mention it, the way I could see an Inquisitor going from a lawful good into a lawful evil would be that there's an archdemon, devil, whatever, that's corrupting them, that's pretending to be their god, sending them these messages in place of their god to go out and seek out heathens, and to punish people, and to find the wicked, and to kill them. Whatever number of reasons. It could be a fae that's just doing it for shits and giggles. It could be an evil god. I mean, there's any number of entities that could seek to corrupt a mortal. Anyways, the boon that they'll grant you, with this newly granted Dark Knowledge, you are able to expend whatever level of hit dice required to reach whatever stages of your Righteous Verdict ability at will, forcing your target to make their save at disadvantage as your bonus action, also known as skip to second with 2 hit dice, skip to third with 3, granting each stage's effects. You are able to do this a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier per short rest. So, with that, we're just able to go ahead from 14th level and beyond, expend the hit dice that we want to get to the stage that we're looking for, the desired stage. It may just be stage 2, and being able to just go ahead and make them make a wisdom save at disadvantage. I'm considering maybe not at disadvantage for their wisdom save, but it feels kind of nice. It feels kind of a bit much, so I might take that away, but we'll see. In addition, you are now immune to any frightened effects, and any hit dice you expend on your Righteous Verdict will now heal you for 1d4 plus your wisdom modifier per die spent. So I wanted there to be some self-healing aspect to this, because it's kind of like the Dark Pact with the Warlocks. Except in this sense, like, whenever they inflict this pain of fear upon these people, like, that entity is, like, feeding off of it and giving this person maybe some health in return. And, like, there's any number of ways that it could be interpreted. I kind of like it. It's really dark, but, you know, again, powerful. Who knows? it really just improves the righteous verdict ability. That's all. It doesn't really add much more to the class. It just so I think I'm gonna end that there. If you have any questions, please let me know. I really like this class. It feels alright, but again, there are things that I have problems with that I'm still trying to figure out if it's balanced or if it's a bit overtuned or even maybe undertuned. And if I could get some feedback on that, that'd be great. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. I hope you've liked it. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And have a good one. Bye-bye.